Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 14 of Season 2 of the F124 Driver Career Mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Belgian Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live Saturday from Hungary, I would highly recommend going back and checking out. Of course, obviously, we'd like to take Grand Prix Sundays off from these videos, so yeah, I apologise that there was no content out yesterday, but we are back once again with the Driver Career Mode. Taking a look at the championship standings at the moment, Max Verstappen now a 57-point lead over his teammate Sergio Perez in the drivers' table, but this was about the point last season where we just started to see Max's season come undone there. Charles Leclerc still in P3 ahead of Piastri and Lando Norris. We are 10th, 2 points between us and Fernando Alonso. It's kind of that Fernando and I are quite consistent, and the Mercedes probably have a quicker car, but just aren't quite able to get as many big results out of it at the moment. But yeah, we head to a power-sensitive circuit this weekend. I'm hoping that can play into our hands as well in the final race before the summer break. I'm kind of hoping in the very near future that we are going to get a contract offer through from Ferrari. Whether we accept it or not will depend on a couple of other things as well there, but just making sure that we get all of our objective specialist goals set up. And yeah, obviously, hopefully, I will see you guys out in free practice.
It's the longest track with the shortest name. Plenty of thrilling high-speed corners here to get to grips with during practice at Spa Francorchamps.
Well, I always love coming back to the Spa Francorchamps circuit, and this weekend we could really do with a big result. Obviously, we've been able to get good points in the last couple of rounds, but it is still bugging me on my lack of overall qualifying performance. So fingers crossed we can try and sort of, you know, get a good effort out here in qualifying later on today. Yeah, I do like the new layout here at Spa. I think they've done a really, really good job with it inside F124, and obviously I love coming to this track anyway, inside the F1 game. It's a little bit more difficult this year. It must be said, obviously, just due to the nature of some of those gravel traps and things. But that doesn't make it any less rewarding when you get it nailed. When this video goes live, I will hopefully be coming back from the Spa 24. Really looking forward to seeing some GT3 cars tearing it up around the Ardennes Forest this weekend. I'm recording this video on Thursday. It is meant to rain a lot over the weekend, so maybe I'm going to get very, very wet as well there. But finishing our track acclimatization lap, no chance of rain here in F124, but there is a 100% chance of a purple score. Well, I'm really trying to temper my expectations now since the new patch on F124. It feels like going into every weekend I've got to know how competitive we're going to be. Purple scores, though, all around, so hopefully that's a good sign.
Welcome to the behemoth that they value so highly. This is Spa. It's high speed. It is really challenging. We have elevation, we have dramatic corners, and we have one driver in a few moments' time who will take pole position.
Well, I would love for it to be us who takes pole position here. Still yet to take a single pole inside F124, but honestly, with the way we've gone in recent times, I'll be happy if we see Q2. Really has been a tough old run of races for us. And yeah, like I said, it has been ever since the new patch. I don't think it's the ARU's overtake. I think they just now actually use their battery in qualifying, but it has kind of meant we're a lot more balanced with Hulkenberg in qualifying. Often still in races, we've been able to get the better of him, and I must admit, you know, recently we have done a really good job as well of still picking up points here and there, you know, keeping close to the likes of Alonso and those Mercedes in the championship. 210 miles by the time we get on the brakes at the top of the Kemmel Straight. Yeah, this thing is still fast. Well, I like to still pride myself on being able to get a pretty well nailed down lap here. Unfortunately, Lewis Hamilton appears to have used me for slipstream right the way round. So we've actually carried the Mercedes along, and well, I guess technically he is one of my big championship rivals so far this season. To make our way up in towards the bus stop chicane though to finish off this lap. Oh, a little bit of rear locking. First real mistake I've made all lap round. So we put the power down out of the final corner. It's going to be P10. That's better than we've done recently, quicker than Gasly. Well, Mark's lying to me, it's P14 currently, so I don't know why he's telling me that. But yeah, not only do the AI now seem to be quicker over one lap inside this game, but they also seem to be able to improve more frequently come the end of their second runs here. So as we try and get our final flyer kick-started, we're going to be keeping one eye on the top left-hand side of your screens there as well. Make sure that we don't find ourselves out in Q1. That's an interesting way to take the first corner. Weirdly, I don't think it cost us anything, rather impressively. We're still pretty much even with my Delta to make our way through, as we've seen lots of other times moving around me. But we are still in P14 for now. I'm happy to bail out if we don't need to improve, and we don't. P15 in the end. That is close, but we've made Q2. Well, if ever there was going to be a track I'd back myself to make it straight into Q2, surely Spa was going to be that one there. Only 8 thousandths between us and Kevin Magnussen, though, so I would hardly say we safely made it by. Hulkenberg will line up at the back of the grid, but we've got basically 2 sets of tyres to go for a run in Q2. Right, well, we're going to go back out then on the first scrub set of tyres that we used in Q1. And hopefully then we'll be able to find some time when we go for a second one. We need to be into the 43s in this second session. We also need to be careful that we're not locking up the rears. Brakes seem really sensitive around this track. You know, we've said it since the beginning of the year, but this car definitely has a bit more power than the chassis and the aerodynamics can handle. It makes things leery, and it makes things fun. Well, first lap hasn't felt too bad. We're half a second down though on Esteban Ocon, so clearly the Alpine driver able to find a bit more pace as he's gone back out into the second session. Everybody should be building up confidence. A little bit gutted to see Albon so far down the order. He had a really good race here last season. I think he made it into Q3, as did I. But yeah, horrible line through the bus stop as we try and roll on the throttle out of the final corner. 44.2. Only a tenth slower than we did in Q1. And we have got a fresh set of tyres left. Trying to give ourselves a nice slipstream then from Lance Stroll here, ready for our final run. Provisional Q3 knockout time is a 1:43.5, so we're going to need a big improvement here as we head into our final qualifying effort. I don't know whether Stroll, what are they doing? Stroll there tries to park it on the inside. Sonoda then as well gets a little bit confused just in front of him. We'll claim the slipstream off of the first corner. That will put us back up in the green then, so once more finding a little bit of time as we chuck the car up through Eau Rouge and Raidillon on lap 1. It's so fun when you get a lap nailed around here, but are we going to be able to do it in Q2? I'm just happy to be in Q2, to be completely honest. You can see there, 10th up on the Alpine at the end of the first sector, but of course, yeah, that was probably helped a little bit by the slipstream. Stroll now into the drop zone as we plunge down the hill through Malmedy, try and keep the car near the curb. Just finding a little bit more pace as the grip comes to us. Don't really want to lean on that outside curb anymore, but we find another 10th as well through Noning. Down into Pouhon we go. Down 1 gear this time around. Feeling brave, and we'll capitalise. Claim the speed off of the corner and use it right the way down into the Fagnes chicane. Tip it in 4th gear. Keep it tidy on the entry. Really easy to upset the car on the exit, and that's exactly what we've done.
We need a good lap here or we're out of qualifying. Come on.
Just sticking the wheel in the gravel, but we get away with it. We keep the wheel speed up on the exit of the corner, and we are just finding time everywhere around this venue right now. Unless we nail the final couple of corners, I don't think we're going to see ourselves into Q3. But what a brilliant effort it would be if we could. This is my favourite track. It's the one I probably still feel strongest on inside the F1 game. Brake at the 100-metre board, tick the car in. Back end wants to slide around a little bit. We accidentally go down into 1st gear, but we find another couple of tenths. Is it Q3? P12. So close. I thought we were just going to do it. There we go. Max Verstappen, Lando, Norris trading fastest time so far throughout the qualifying sessions. Esteban Ocon will see himself into Q3, but we were half a tenth away from George Russell in P10 there. Unlucky for us, but we have absolutely got the pace to fight on lap 1. So that's exactly what we're going to do.
The Belgian Grand Prix, a race the great Ayrton Senna won 6 times, and in 2019, Charles Leclerc became the first driver to take their maiden win here since a certain Michael Schumacher in 1992. One of the circuits that makes Formula One, Formula One. Welcome to the Belgian Grand Prix. 19 corners, 4.3 miles or 7 kilometres. There's over 100 metres of elevation change here, with long stretches of the lap spent flat out. Look out for the bus stop chicane. The final challenge before the temporary relief of the start-finish straight. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. Edging out Lando Norris who'll start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Tsunoda, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Hamilton, Russell, Ocon, Stroll, Mr. Monaco, Sainz, Albon, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Joe, Sargent, and Nico Hulkenberg rounds off the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Well, here we are then on the grid, and by virtue of Fernando Alonso's penalties, I think this is the highest we've qualified since Monaco. It's been a while since we even started kind of near the midfield here, but hopefully we're not going to waste that opportunity as well. 22 laps ahead of us here in the Ardennes, and we're going to go aggressive with the strategy. Soft to medium, we might go for an undercut if we feel it's viable as well a bit later on. No chance of rain. So hopefully this can play into our hand. I've had very little rain recently since the new update as well, but it is 5 red lights. A ridiculously long hole, but it is going to be lights out and away we go. We've actually done a pretty good getaway there. Straight past Stroll, sorry, down in towards someone. It's all Ocon and Russell. Who's turned in on me? Why? Stroll and Sainz there, too busy fighting with each other.
You might start to pick up a little bit extra drag.
Love that. Love that on lap 1, as we're going to really try and pinch in Lance Stroll down in towards Rouge and Rally on there. I don't get how the AI, they're side by side behind me, and yet somehow I'm the one that picks up damage and all of that. And Stroll will try and go around my outside. That's not going to happen so easily. Sonny as will just absolutely send it in towards the next corner there. I'm not willing to give up on points despite the lap 1 damage. There's Russell and Ocon duking out just in front of me, but it is still Verstappen who leads the way ahead of Lando Norris at the front of the field. McLaren might well and truly be showing signs that they are back in this series. Of course, Oscar Piastri won the British Grand Prix a few rounds ago. Silverstone and Spa, fairly similar, I would argue. Verstappen is already streaking away at the front of the field, but now we've got DRS enabled. We're going to try and go on the offensive here.
Side pods, expect to feel a little bit more drag than normal.
I can't say I've noticed it too badly so far, as around the outside of George will go. Like we said, Mercedes, they're really kind of dropping back, into ours, Aston Martin, Alpine's clutches in recent times. Obviously, we are battling with them in the drivers' table, so any points we gain could prove pivotal by the end of the year. There's Esteban Ocon as well, having a really good run for Alpine.
Button more, it's time to utilise some of this energy, come on.
Verstappen, though, at the front of the field, has decided he's checking out, and a bit like Austria, he's just winning this one with great ease. I think Russell and Carlos Sainz then must have made contact here, because Sainz is kept up with me. George Russell, though, is dropping off at a rapid rate of knots early on, so not too sure what's happened to him. I'm trying to monitor the gap to Esteban Ocon in front, because I'm hoping he's going to lose the DRS to the cars in front of him. Although, that being said, it seems like both Red Bulls... both McLarens, both Ferraris want to get involved in a battle here. Looks like one of them has broken free. We've got yellows out. Someone might be breaking down. Or is it just Russell making his way into the pit lane now? What on earth is going on down at turn 1? Apparently we're having a tea party, lads. We're going to try and see if we can get a run then on Esteban Ocon here as we make our way up the kennels straight. Hamilton, Piastri and Lando Norris fighting it out just in front of me. 3 wide they go. Are we going to see Hamilton? Sorry? What on earth was that? Esteban Ocon just turned for me.
It's good to get your elbows out, mate, but come on, not like this. Let's keep it clean, please.
I've never had this target acquired inside F124, as immediately Lando Norris and I make a tiny bit of contact. What on earth was Esteban Ocon trying to do there, though? He just swung for me down the middle of the Kemmel Straight as we almost bin it on the exit of the corner. I think Lando Norris as well, and all that 3 wide fighting up in front, picked up damage last time round as well. He immediately has dropped back off the tail of Lewis Hamilton and his teammate there. Lando really has had a lot of bad luck so far this season, as we're going to try and go around the outside then of the McLaren. Oscar and Lewis still fighting just up the road. Are we going to see... I mean, they had obviously that magnificent battle to the end of the Qatar Grand Prix last year, but this time around it's Hamilton that comes out on top. Well, I kind of didn't realise actually how much damage we took from that early incident. I don't think Carlos... no, it was Esteban Ocon, wasn't it? Who took a swipe at me. Has helped us out either. Luckily, Lando Norris is kind of spreading out the group further back. But yeah, Sainz, Ocon and I can kind of work together throughout a lot of the afternoon. Then maybe we can all try and guarantee ourselves some points. It's kind of a bit weird. You don't really think there's any of the top runners that are outside of the top 10. But I guess with neither Alpine there,
Behind, 1 second.
George Russell, it does provide a lot of us with some opportunity. Speaking of opportunity though, well, Carlos Sainz, I was trying to let him buy the easy way, but he wanted to try and make himself work for it. Around the outside goes the Spaniard.
Overtake button for more power.
Now, I got no qualms with Lando Norris creating a bit of a roadblock further behind as Lance Stroll now moves himself up into P10. We just want to work with Sainz here over the next couple of laps to keep Ocon further back. I don't know what it is now about this track, but it's turn 1 that seems to be the corner I really struggle with the most around this venue. I guess because the camber isn't the same as I remember it being. Can we try and get a run on Carlos Sainz around the outside at the top of the hill? Clean will sweep back through there. We're working together quite nicely. Not when I do that though, as he might be able to try and get the switch on me back down.
You made it look so easy.
Nope, we just, you know, we dipped the wheel in the gravel there for the theatrics, for the cameras. Well, unfortunately, yeah, I think Ocon's tyres now just starting to work out a little bit better than Sainz on my own. I think we've certainly put a lot of wear through these, especially when you factor in the damage as well that we've taken. Want to try and keep hold of the lead for, you know what I mean, of this group for now, as you can just see both of them closing in there at the end of the Kemmel Straight. I don't know whether to box now. I think we want to try and go 1 lap more if we can. But I guess it will kind of depend on when Ocon wants to pit, because I don't want to get undercut by him. Yellows, we've got yellows. Someone's got issues. Who's that going to be then, potentially out of the Grand Prix? I think that might be Carlos Sainz. So Sainz then running into mechanical issues, and he's out.
Okay, it looks like the problem's terminal. They're retiring the car.
That all happened very suddenly then, as we're going to box into the end of this lap. Ocon now forced to battle with Lance Stroll a bit further behind. Making our way then into the pit lane at the end of lap 10. We've done pretty well actually on these soft compound tyres to hang on to them as well as we have, despite obviously the underfloor and body damage that we've got on the car. Absolutely nailed that pit lane entry as well. 49 miles an hour. We just got it slowed down at exactly the right time. So hopefully we're not going to get ourselves overcut then by some of the other runners. It is an earlier pit stop than we've seen most drivers make, but I think it's the right call.
Okay, go, go, go! That was a fantastic stop, faster than we were expecting. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
I didn't realise I'd popped the car in neutral, so Russell's going to say thank you very much and immediately get past me. But only down to 12th. I didn't realise Ocon had pit as well, to be fair. So we've actually done pretty well there, and surely we're going to be able to get a run back on the Mercedes then as we make our way up the straight. Maybe putting it in neutral actually helped me out there so we wouldn't be under pressure from George myself, as use that little bit extra battery. You just slingshot yourself alongside the AI, and we are through. Is Russell trying to go to the end on those hards? Or does he plan on boxing again? Only time will tell. There we go. Teammate in, so we should be back up inside the points.
Okay, Nico's into the pits. Nico in the pits. Okay, keep an eye on that gap ahead, please. 3.7 seconds.
I thought for a split second then we might get the jump on Oscar Piastri, but of course, yeah, he's come out a little way up the road. Kind of hoping Russell can help me out here and not let Ocon get too close, as we're still up in P7. I mean, it would be a pretty standard result for me in recent races, but every single time, I really do feel like we've driven the wheels off the car.
The mediums. Car ahead now running medium tyres.
There goes George, but yeah, let's try and keep Ocon back. Well, I'm genuinely happy just to keep trading this place with George Russell right now, as long as it keeps Ocon a little bit further back. He seems to be gaining in on the pair of us here, as Russell, which way is he going to go? He's going to let me by, and then kind of decide at the last moment he doesn't want to let me by. We'll open up the gap to Ocon back up to 2 seconds. It's purple through the first sector. I'm sure in no thanks into that slipstream. I can formulate a full sentence still, ish. Got bigger concerns at the moment, Mark. We got a Williams that's gone round. Maybe something else has happened. No, I think it is just that Williams has gone for a spin. Gets back going. I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I would assume that's Sargent. But yeah, I mean, this could be a new personal best of the race as well for us. So we're getting into a decent groove at the moment. We're keeping Russell as well away from Esteban Ocon. 45.2.
Teammate behind, 0.7 seconds.
That ain't right. But yeah, we're not that far off Max's best lap.
On Stroll. Okay, they're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Is the problem with the car the meat and flesh driving it? Because then I understand. Well, I am very much monitoring the gap at the moment between Ocon and George Russell. I feel like, yeah, if Ocon gets within the range of George, then it's time that I just let George go. And when I say let George go, I actually mean try and get out the 1 second zone. Because I'm just keeping him there at the moment, trying to make sure that Ocon doesn't get the DRS off him too soon towards the end of the race. But, yeah, despite the damage, though, pace feels really good in the car, like I said. I feel like I can just maximise Spa as a track better than any other. It's a track I feel I have slightly more confidence with the car at. As you can see, oh, it's getting mighty close between those two behind me. I think George, though, again for now, has kept Esteban out of the range. And as soon as I say that, Russell, I think, has had a minor lock-up, so Esteban now is within his range. I'm sorry, George, I've got to let you go, my friend. So try and put the power down out of turn 1, drain the battery. Yep, we'll leave those two to fight. 7 laps to go here in the Ardennes. And I'll be honest, I'm hoping it's really quiet and undramatic. Esteban Ocon, clean past George Russell, though, on lap 17. So, yeah, we're still going to end up in a fight, I believe, with that Alpine before now in the end. But Russell, are we going to see him able to hang close enough to Ocon? I'm staggered. The Mercedes driver has gone as far as he had on the hards. I can only assume he's trying to get into the end. I tell you what, it's actually a good strategy by them. It's worked really well as we've got yellows out. I think that's Verstappen. Max Verstappen, he's either gone for a spin or he's out of the Grand Prix.
In the next part of the track, no overtaking through the yellow flags.
The second time in 3 races the Dutchman has seemingly bottled an easy lead at the front of the field. He did it back at Silverstone. He's done it again here. And Verstappen now suddenly down to P6. 4 laps to go here from Belgium, and now with having to start playing the strategy game with Esteban Ocon behind me, we know he's looking quick at the moment. Annoyingly, he has been able to drag George Russell back to us, and he hasn't quite been able to get George out of the range just yet. So we're going to try and let Esteban by, slot in between them, and make sure that obviously we can attack him again before the end of the race there, as there goes Esty Bestie around the outside. We might now be able to get George out of the range. Oh, but we've got to basically stick to his rear end like glue through this middle sector. Come on. Here we go then. We've got to try and get George out of the range, so we need to basically be under Esteban's gearbox here as we make our way in towards the bus stop. Ocon will go defensive on me. Whoa, hello. Huge rear snap there as we make our way in. Those 2 big braking zones in towards the final couple of corners and down at turn 1.
Target nicely. There's a long way to go in this race, so let's keep it clean.
Why I struggle with them both so much, but I really do in this year's game. Can we try and get the power down and keep Russell out of the range once again? No, we can. George Russell, he's on hard tyres that are like 17 laps old at this point, and yet still he refuses to give up in this battle. I'm going to sit behind Esteban this time. I think it's in our best interest. 2 laps to go then. I don't think Russell's going to give up. I think he's been really clever here and has let us both by and is now just willing to sit in behind. See, this time around we're going to get a run on Esteban Ocon. He keeps it pinned down on the right hand side. Clean around the outside of him. We'll go though on the brakes just to keep it inside track limits as well. They're at the top of the hill. Same can't be said off the corner. Are we going to see Esteban have a look back down the inside? Yes, we are. We got gravel on the tyres. And he kind of takes a very late apex there. I thought he was going to turn in long before he did. It's a big battle late on in the day. We know we have beef with Esteban Ocon. He is not a driver I would like to work with unless I absolutely had to. And today, that seems to be the case. Oh, yellows. Yellows. George Russell. Russell right at the end. I think he's gone for a spin. Something's happened to George Russell here, who was tucked up behind me. And after such a good job done by nursing those tyres, it has all gone wrong for the Mercedes man late on in the day here. I think he's trying to get back on the road, and I think he has created a roadblock a little bit further back, so no idea whether the AI are going to be able to deal with that. We've got more important pressing matters on the hands, though, as we're going to try and have a look to the inside of Esteban Ocon. Up the Kemmel Straight there, through we will go, and back into P7.
0.1 seconds.
No idea. What did George do? I would love to find out. But yeah, as we make our way, though, around this final lap, I could not tell you which Ferrari it is leading the way. I would assume it's Charles Leclerc, but we were so just expecting Verstappen to dominate this one. Ferrari, they haven't looked quick all weekend. It's all been about Red Bull and McLaren, most notably Verstappen and Lando Norris. Lando picked up damage early on, which I don't think McLaren ever bothered to fix. Max Verstappen absolutely bottled it under no pressure for the second time in 3 Grand Prix. So Ferrari are going to be the ones that reap the rewards here. Is it going to be a 1-2? Or is Sergio Perez going to keep his title hopes alive by getting between them here on X-Score and his teammate by a good 9 or 10 points here? Only time will tell. Through the final corner, it is going to be Charles Leclerc that wins the Belgian Grand Prix for the second time. Sainz will hang on for P2. He beats out Sergio Perez, who will cut the gap back down to his Red Bull teammate. We're still under pressure from Esteban Ocon in towards the final couple of corners. They're nice and early on the brakes. Through we go. It is P7 in the end here in Belgium. I will happily bring home the points.
The man from Monaco will win again. Charles Leclerc takes the checkered flag.
Well, a truly brilliant performance today by Charles Leclerc to take victory. You can see why he's so highly rated. He's always a joy to watch, and a brilliant race put together by him today.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit, familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari do it again.
Well, there we go. Charles Leclerc takes the victory ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. A big weekend for Ferrari, and really, really important for them as they go into the summer break with a bit of momentum behind them there. Perez hangs on for P3 ahead of Hamilton and Oscar Piastri there, with Verstappen beating myself, Ocon, Albon and Pierre Gasly in the final results there. Ricciardo, the only V-carb to survive. Stroll beating out Fernando Alonso in the end. And Hulkenberg, a pretty disappointing day. P16, admittedly from 20th on the grid, but I'm sure he would have wanted a little bit more there. Carlos Sainz, the only driver not to see the checkered flag. That means if we take a look at the championship standings, Verstappen heads into the summer break with a 51-point lead over his teammate there. Perez, 49. The gap between him and Charles Leclerc, who, yeah, extends that gap over Oscar Piastri once more. Tsunoda, he has been a lot better in recent races, so I'll be intrigued to see maybe Ferrari holding off on signing me because they want to keep Yuki on for the rest of the year there. We're up to 8th, though, ahead of George Russell and Fernando Alonso. So, yeah, again, nice to go into the summer break with that little bit of extra, you know, kind of momentum behind us there. The gap to Aston Martin, though, 20 points. As we take a couple of days off there. Ferrari, 190 back from Red Bull. It's looking, yeah, like it's probably going to be Red Bull that claim both championships this year, unless, yeah, Ferrari can come back swinging in the second half of the season. But, yeah, those 2 points as well, critical for Williams, as they will now be back ahead of Kik Sauber as well there. So, yeah, really, really good to see for Alex Albon on a track they needed to capitalise. They have done exactly that. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready for the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort.